Hello and welcome to this video. In the last video we went through how we could actually model a box. However, in this video we're going to go through how we can color it and texture it. We're not going to texture it the normal or typical way where we go into the object, we select some edges, and we right click and mark some seams. Maybe we select everything and go into editing, and then we unwrap. Or maybe even smart unwrap. A quicker, more dirty way. But we're not going to do that because we don't need to. This is just a simple object that's going to have basically one color. In my last thumbnail I played around with the lights, basically that's how I did it. But in this tutorial we're going to do something even easier, which is an add-on which gives us the material we want, which is a click of a button. Now let's get into it. Before we can actually use the add-on, let's set up some light so we can see what's going on. We can add a sun like this. I like to put it up in the sky so it's kind of like a real sun. And I'm going to rotate it a little bit so it's pointing towards the box. Now I'm going to struggle to zoom in on my box, so what I'm going to do is hit my delete or my comma button. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a camera, and I'm going to do Control Alt 0. That way it changes the camera to my view. With the camera selected, I can play around with its location like this. And I can also click data, and I can play with the focal length. So do it as you see fit. There's no right or wrong here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to hit 0. And we could add a ground, kind of like plane. You can do that if you want. Oops. Let's change the 3D cursor to the middle of the scene. You can add like a ground plane like this. So later we get like a cast shadow. I'm not gonna do that. I don't feel like I need it. So I'm gonna delete it. But now, let's just check if we have all the settings set up correctly so everything goes smoothly. We're gonna use the Eevee render engine. I'm also gonna hit simplify, and the view transform I'm gonna set it to standard. Let's see, the next setting I'm gonna set up is where we're gonna have our output. We don't need to do this, but it's nice to do. I set it to PNG and RGBA. If you don't want a background later, you could hit transparent. Again, not going to do it, but it could be a nice setting for you to know about. Now, let's add the add-on. Let's actually add some color, shall we? You're going to the link that I put in the description. You're going to get into this website and you're going to click download. Once you have that zip file, go back into Blender, hit edit and preferences, then go ahead into add-ons and install. Then you just select your add-on and click OK. Then you can go and search for your add-on, make sure this one is enabled. Alright, you can also click save preferences right here. Now once you have that, we can actually add a new material. Texture, material, potato, potato, same thing. Now I'm gonna click plus sign. I'm gonna call it box material, and I'm gonna enable VRM. Now we don't see anything going on, and that's because we're in the wrong view. So I'm gonna go into viewport shading. Still, this is not the colors we want, so we can go ahead and edit the colors like this. Pretty cool, right? So you can go ahead and tweak it as you see fit. Just like that. Something like this. Doesn't have to be perfect. Make sure also your sun, click it here, and N to get this toolbar up, is kind of like the right position that you want it to be. Now back to the box, to the material tab. If you want a little bit of line art, you can go ahead and change the outline width to world coordinates. Then let's add a little bit of depth and change the color. I like to have not black, I like it a little bit colored like this. There we go. And we have the box. But if you want kind of like the paw color, we're gonna go ahead and do the next step. There's a link in the description to this icon as well, so make sure you download that. We're gonna go into shading. Actually, let's hop back into layout and going to graphic side view. There we go. And we're gonna add a plane. I believe it's RY90, RZ90, depending on where you started your object. You can just use the normal rotate if you want. Just use Shift or R to rotate it, or use kind of like this view right here. Now we're gonna put it into correct position. You can use the move tool if you want. Just using S to size it down. Now we're gonna use the paw icon, and we're gonna go into shading. And I'm gonna go and add a new material. We're not gonna use VRM this time. This time we're just gonna actually change the blend mode to alpha clip. This way it will remove the parts that are gonna be transparent. So I saved this file as a PNG, and only the black parts are gonna be the ones showing then. That's why we do that. Now we're gonna go into shading, and I'm gonna take this one up and zoom out because it's all the way up here. And we can do Shift A search, or we can just drag it and we can search here. We're gonna do image texture. Go ahead and find your texture. And if you don't see anything, that's because we're not in rendered view. I'm also going to change the roughness to 1. Then we're going to go and take alpha in there. I just used the wrong texture, so that's why it wasn't showing, but there you go. Now we're going to go and rotate it by Z. Actually, I think it's Y90. It's actually the correct way. There you have it. Now let's render it. Maybe you want to show it to your friends, or you just want to have an image of it, you know, send it on Discord, whatever you want. And go ahead and click F12. This is going to go and render your image. If you're not happy with it, you can always change the position, but this is how it works. And if you want to save it in a different location, you can click Image and Save As. That's going to be pretty much it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it and you found something useful. Leave a like if you did, and a comment. Let me know how it went, and subscribe if you want to see more. And the rest of the video, I'm probably going to add in how I created the thumbnail, but we'll see. Again, I hope you have a good one, and see you next one.